Hey there! Well, this time we're declaring an object here using a constant, and then we're printing the values here as you can see in the console here. Now, if we try to update the values, let's say that we make an empty object here. We are not allowed to do this because this object is declared as a constant as you can see here. But if we try to update one of the properties inside of our object, like name is Andres. So JavaScript will not complain and then simply update the values as expected, because this is the way how a constant works in JavaScript. However, it doesn't avoid from updating nested properties even though if we put a rise on inside of it. With the help of Typescript as const, we can make all of our properties completely immutable. So now both properties that you can see here are read-only now. If you try to assign, for example, the name here a new value, it will throw an error since we cannot reassign this value, so cannot be updated. It works on nested objects as well. If we put here education, then degree is bachelor. And then if we try to assign a value here for education, would be IT, we won't be allowed us to do that because degree is also immutable in this object. The same applies to arrays and other types of words. For example, here we have an array of skills and we're pushing a new skill to it and everything seems to be good. We will simply put as const here. Now TypeScript will convert this array as immutable, so it'll throw an error because we're trying to push data to a read-only array. And now if we remove this mutation from here, the error goes away and everything goes back again. As you may have seen in this example, we are using as const on the values. For the types, we have different ways of specifying the immutability. Now in the example that we had before here, we have a type user here. Our user object is now using the user type. Then we are updating some of the values here. And as you can see, it's just logging the user here. Let's say that we want to make the name as immutable. To do that, we're gonna put the word read only just before the name property. Then it'll start throwing an error since now name property cannot be changed, but the age is still working fine. If we put read only just before age property here, and then age property will throw an error as well. But what about objects? If we put read only just before education object, and we try to update this value here, it is throwing an error as expected, that the education object cannot be updated, of course. But if we try to update the degree value, for example this one, user education degree is IT, well, it is not throwing any errors because read-only updates only the first level of the object for any nested properties. You still need to put a read-only in front of them. And now it is throwing an error here. Let's see how we can make our array to be unmutable. Well, I just add skills as an array here in the user type. Then I assign some default values here. And here I'm trying to assign values and then trying to push something to the same skills array. If we put read only in front of the skills array, we will see that the reassignment is throwing an error, but the push is working fine because just like objects, we cannot reassign at a first level, so a new strings to array can be pushed too. To make this read only, we need to put here read only as an array of a string, and then we will see that it's throwing an error here. There's also a different syntax for this, so I can copy this and change this to this. And then I remove this. Now it's given the same exact error.